Welcome back, guys. You're on 11:59. Today we got Vithya on the pod. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Nah,
Nice.
man, we don't usually have big stars here.
Ha ha ha. I'm no big star.
But yeah, I'm really happy and very, very short notice as well. And you're like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Anything for you, man. Every time you ask, I'm on it.
Yeah, man. So if you guys don't remember, you probably won't, but 4 years ago, I think I sent you probably 5 years ago now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think it was 5 years ago now.
Yeah. I've sent Vithya an email and she just responded, and we did an interview like long time ago, and that was a long one. That was like we had to split into 4 parts as well.
It was like 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
talking. I remember I told my husband, like, oh, I'm just doing like this quick podcast, yeah? Like, can you wait in the living room? We'll go out after. And then 4 hours later, he was like, what the hell?
The takeaways only.
No, but it was really fun though. Like, it was that long because it was just great, like great questions, and the conversation was flowing, so it was great. So well done, you. Look at where you are now.
Small things have changed. Yeah, I mean, like when we started, we were on Zoom. And then now finally you can meet in person.
It's still a good setup, and now it's like, this is so cool that you're doing this. And
Hopefully, like they have to subscribe for us to carry on.
We subscribe,
but hopefully we do. But thank you again. Honestly, appreciate it. I mean, I always tell you off camera, anyways. But yeah. Always appreciate it. But I want to talk about what you do and stuff like that. So do you want to tell the people what's your day-to-day?
I am a professional hair and makeup artist. I predominantly focus on like South Asian bridals, like a lot of Tamil weddings. But I have done stuff on movies or like worked with like South Indian celebrities, or I've done editorial, I've done TV, like things like that. But again, focused mainly on bridal, and then somehow used social media to sort of promote my work. But then it became a thing where I kind of became a content creator / influencer somehow. So I changed my social media and kind of focused purely like on content creating for social media. And then I became a YouTuber. And then somewhere, like I think about 7-8 years ago, I just shared a story about the depression that I went through, and then it became a platform to talk about mental health as well. So it's kind of like a all-rounder, like a mix of everything. But my profession and my bread and butter is my professional hair and makeup. That's what I do full-time.
Okay, that's what you do full-time. And then I was going to ask you as well, like, how do you take like your passion and make it like a full-time job? Because eventually for you it started like a passion, isn't it? Like the makeup and everything.
It did. I think, it depends on your situation. Like I feel like financially, your environment, so many things have to like factor in as well, right? Like I was able to kind of pursue this because I was living at my parents' house at the time. I had just finished my degree. I was working for a marketing company. So I felt like I didn't really have bills to pay or a mortgage, or I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. So I felt like, let me try this out. If it works out, great. If not, I've got my degree to fall back on. So I feel like I was able to pursue my passion and take my time with it. There was no pressure because again, I didn't have financial sort of commitments. So then I kind of fell into this, and it took time, but then I was able to really eventually go full time with it and focus on it and just like put all my time and like effort into it. But I think now whenever people ask me like they want to go full time, I'm like, you can if you set yourself up, like if you plan it well, like you can do it. And I think with all the pressure of social media now, people just want like quick results.
100%.
And that kind of I feel like slows you down a little bit as well, because you're not you should just do it at your own pace. And that's what I did. Like it took me years. Like people always think, Vithya has this glamorous life and she's traveling. And people don't realize I've been doing this for 15 years, man. Like nearly 16 years now. So I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time, but people have only known of me maybe in the last under 10 years for sure. So the other 5-6 years I've spent just hustling like on the quiet, because nobody knew me, and you would get like maybe one bridal job every 3-4 months, or or maybe 2 or 3 a year, and you can't survive on that. So obviously I had to work part-time. I had to do anything to kind of like bring in money and stuff, right? So I feel like yes, you can make your turn your passion into a full-time job. You can, but it's not as easy as like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, do it. Like, you can, but it requires so much time, effort, work, and money as well that you have to invest into it.
100%. And do you feel like for a new creator now, like starting up like a makeup business is as like lucrative as it used to be back in the days. I feel like
Well,
I don't want to say it wasn't easy, but there was a good gap for you to like.
yeah,
I feel
I
like
was
there was
just about to say that
Yeah.
there was a gap, and I think that's why it was probably again, not the word easy, but then it was
Yeah.
just like when I now compare it to, but then,
Yeah.
you know, looking at it the other way, I wasn't able to promote myself because we didn't
100%.
really have social media. Like
100%.
there wasn't Instagram when I started. There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
only
yeah.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And not everyone was on Facebook. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like so much harder. Like I had to walk around with actual portfolios, like physical
Yeah,
portfolios
pictures
and
of
go
what
to
you've done.
interviews or pictures of my like
Yeah.
clients or photo shoots and stuff to try and get a job. And even if you did a job, how do you then promote that you did that, or how do you market it? So you
Yeah,
have
100%.
resumes and CVs, and that's where it's mentioned that
100%.
you've worked with the National Portrait Gallery, or
Yeah.
you've worked with British Airways. Like
Yeah.
you it's nowhere
Yeah,
else. It's just
it is.
me mentioning it or in a conversation, right? Whereas now I feel like you can advertise your work and it gets exposure left, right, center, which we didn't have 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's no excuse. If you do want to do something now, you do have it easier. However, there's way more competition because
Yeah.
there's so many people out there, right?
Yeah,
like doing
yeah.
the same thing or something similar. So then you have to say to yourself, okay, like imagine somebody wants to become a makeup artist. Now, how do you set yourself apart from all the other makeup artists that are in London, if
Yeah.
that makes sense? What are you going to do differently, or how are you going to be
Yeah.
different? And I think that's then the thing that you need to do to kind of make it. I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And especially when I look at like a lot of people start because of your footsteps, you know, they start like they potentially think that content creation, being online, is obviously that, you know, you see it all pink, you know, from the other side. And then you would want to take your footsteps, which are obviously like into like the makeup artist like route, right? But then people forget that you've actually got experience before the bridal scene, you know, like it's not like you started on a bride or you started on a bridesmaid before.
Yep.
You know, you've had like a lot more experience, like down to your part-time jobs and everything.
Yep.
And I think that's something that people forget now. And
Yep.
sometimes I get like, I don't follow a lot of makeup artists. Maybe I should.
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
But, like,
Sometimes you should follow people that you find relatable.
Yeah, 100%.
At the end of the day, you can support people
Yeah.
as well, but then at the same time, so it's okay.
But as in, when I follow Vithya, so like you and obviously Vithya for the people, like you post a lot about like you know, stuff being healthy, like obviously like the cosmetics they're using, making sure they don't go past the expiry dates and everything.
Oh,
know,
you
like,
remember that?
Yeah. And it's like little things, right? But that's something I don't think of.
Yeah.
And then I feel like because it's also a big investment as well to have that kind
course,
of
yeah.
like, you know, like how would you say, like supply behind you. So a massive investment, and it's an investment that's got shelf life. So you need to like constantly update it. And I feel like nowadays people start a business, but they might not have like
Know those little things, yeah.
Yeah.
What helped me as well is working part-time. So I've always worked part-time in retail since I was 16 years old. Like I've always wanted to have my own money and make my own money. So while I was studying, I always worked. And I think customer service really helped me with starting my own business. And I think ultimately, I feel like I've lasted this long in the industry because of my customer service. Because there are so many other makeup artists who are probably so much better than me and do better hair or better makeup or whatever. But then it comes down to running a business, being your own boss, clientele, like customer service, punctuality, attendance. There are so many things associated that makes you last in the industry. And I think that's then the next step. And little things like hygiene, expiry dates, and education. And you've got to constantly educate yourself if you want to sort of stay on top or on trend, or do something where you don't end up getting sued by your client because you've
100%.
given them a skin reaction or something. So there's so many things, liability, like gosh, so much. And I think people don't think that. They just think, ooh, I can do hair and makeup. Let me start doing hair and makeup. That's great. That is how you're meant to start, because it's that passion of wanting to do hair and makeup on somebody else. But then there is so much more associated with it. And I feel like sometimes people just freak out a little bit and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea there was so much time and an investment. Like, you have to think about an accountant, your taxes, liability insurance, business insurance. Like there are so many things that you have to think of as well, but to protect yourself and protect your clients as well, right? Contracts. Oh my God, the list goes on, man. And I've learned that by myself over the years. It wasn't something that was taught to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I went to London College of Fashion, but then that was more for TV and fashion makeup.
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
I went into the bridal industry, it became a whole different game.
Yeah.
And then I had to like constantly find templates on Google and be like, how do I put a contract together? I don't know. Like, how do I find an accountant? Do I
Yeah.
just Google like
Yeah.
accountants? Like, you know, all these things that I've had to learn myself. So I try and now during my, like when I do my masterclasses, teach people how to do contracts,
Yeah.
what to include in contracts, and how do you set yourself like up for a business basically.
Yeah,
and I kind of wished like people did that with me when I first started, but we didn't really have anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Not many people that did that as a full-time business, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And even then, like, not many people go to that, you know, attention to detail where you have a contract.
Yeah, maybe they didn't know and they didn't need it at the time. And
100%.
most people did makeup as a part-time thing. Nobody really did it full-time because at the time when I started, people didn't earn well enough to survive on just
100%.
you know, bridal jobs, right? Whereas I feel like now in the creative field, and it's the same thing for photographers or any kind of field that you go into, you have the opportunity to go full time with it because you're, you know, with that one skill set that you have, it just opens so many doors now because of social media, and you're able to just bring in different revenues, right? So that's great, which we didn't obviously have 15 years ago.
100%. You know, like, you touch on pricing, obviously without touching your price architecture, what do you think was the average when you started, and what is the average for like a bridal makeup?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I think when I first started, I charged £150, I remember, for a bride, okay? £150. And I remember one of my first big weddings, they even negotiated with me and brought it down to £100. Imagine doing £100 for a Hindu bride when I'm working for a good 15 hours. And my products at the time were like also high end. And I'm like, but this money is not going to cover me, like, you know, my petrol and everything. I was just like, I'm making no profit, right? But then you want the opportunity so bad that you're kind of just like, all right, fine then. And I had no idea how to price it because I didn't have makeup artists around me who were as, I would say, open or sharing
people
or
didn't want to
you know
share.
So I think it was really hard for me to go around and ask anybody and be like, oh, like, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? People didn't easily do that then. And obviously maybe I don't know why, but like I'm like, now it's so much easier because people use their platforms to educate, so you kind of learn things from anyone you follow on Instagram anyway, right? So like with the pricing, then when I realized, okay, so let me start with this figure, like I went double and then triple, and then it just kind of went so that all the makeup artists at one point started sort of charging similar sort of amounts. So then even when I moved to Malaysia, the first thing I did was research what all the other makeup artists were charging. And I just kind of wanted to, because I knew there were some makeup artists who were like on top, like when I say top, they were like the best in KL. And I didn't feel like I should be charging what they're charging because they're like, you know, up there, and I should be somewhere middle ground. So I was literally charging maybe the kind, like, or the medium level makeup artist. I don't know, like if that's the right thing to say, but
like
I
the
kind
average,
of,
you were averaging
I
the
just
prices,
thought, let me try it with that kind of amount and see where it goes. And if I feel like, hey, people are not negotiating or people feel like my price is fair, then every year I can up it a little bit. And I think that's the right way of doing it, rather than thinking you finish your course and then you've got, I don't know, X amount of followers on Instagram, and then you think, hey, I'm going to go super high with my price. It's not fair because it needs to reflect on experience and professionalism and your skill set, so many things, right, that factor into it. So like now I've basically been on the same price point for the last, I would say, 4 years now. Like I've just kind of not gone up, but instead I change other things around where like I got an electric car, so I've like included travel cost now because I'm like, it's not fair charging somebody for travel cost when I don't pay for travel anymore. Like it's, you know, I just charge my card. It costs almost nothing. So then it's little things like that where I give my brides little perks where I'm like, I make it fair. But then, you know, at the same time, I don't want to be like undercharging, but then I don't want to be overcharging. So I feel like I mean, people usually say to me that they think I'm quite affordable. So that's nice because as a person or a customer myself, if I was going to, you know, book a makeup artist, I would want to kind of feel like, okay, you know what, this is reasonable.
Of course. And something you touched on that's interesting is the like pricing of everything. Like you said, you got an electric car. So for those that don't know, it makes a huge difference in terms of how much you pay for travel. because I think for petrol cars, 45p per miles that you're
Yeah,
legally
yeah,
allowed.
literally.
For an electric car,
I think
7p.
it's 50p now. Yeah.
So it works out much cheaper if the person you hire, like, you know, has an electric car and charges you for travel. It works out much cheaper. So it's nice that you actually let them know what you have.
Yeah,
and
I
tell
mean,
them, you know, it is what it is.
I don't tell them, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
obviously, if they look out the window and see my car, they'll be like, "Did you just charge me this much for travel? It's not fair."
Yeah.
Unless it's obviously outside of London, then I
Yeah,
do because
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that's like
Yeah, of course you have
mileage.
to.
But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like
yeah.
everything within London. I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
you don't need to pay for my travel. Like,
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy that you go into all those details. And then, you know, like in terms of like the other jobs that evolve with you as well, like within that same industry, like did you see a sort of evolution? Because I've seen an evolution in like obviously the makeup industry where,
100%.
and obviously in the photography industry as well.
Yep.
But like, you know, like I remember the makeup artists before, it was just one person that would come, help out all the family and everything. Whereas now it's like more of a like scheduled thing. There's
Yeah, and it's like
timing.
so many people. Like if I now get hired, especially if it's not somebody's house, but it's like a hotel or something, and there's like a massive bridal suite, there's like 4 or 5 makeup artists in there. And it's nice because we all kind of like say hi to each other. We tag each other on Instagram or, you know, share each other's stories and we kind of support each other.
Yeah.
So it's really nice because I get to meet so many new makeup artists as well who are maybe doing the bridesmaids or the mother of the bride. You know, if I get booked, I mean, I only do bridal makeup only now, but like when I do the bride, I just get to meet so many other makeup artists. And it's just nice because I'm like, this is so cool to see people, because when people ask me, oh, can you not do the bridesmaids and the mother of the bride? For me, it's just tiring. Like I'm there for that many hours getting that many people ready that by the time I get to the bride, I'm exhausted and I don't want my bride to you know,
to
like
get the leftovers of Vithya's talent.
Basically. And so then I figured, you know what, I can't do it. I'm going to have to just focus on the bride. And then it's nice that then there are so many other makeup artists who are able to grow. And I mean, I started with bridesmaids. No bride booked me back in the days. It was like
100%.
for like a good 5-6 years, I only did bridesmaids, maybe the mother of the bride. And then eventually like a bride would book me. And then it just kind of evolved into me just doing brides only. So
Yeah, I mean, there's no like shame into it. It's always like, you know, you have to see what's more valuable in terms of time as well.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like at the end of the day, the reason why like your business works, like you said, the bread and butter is because of the bridal makeup. You can't be doing side jobs and everything because that's part of your experience now, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even that. For me, it just makes it tired. Like obviously it's great money if I did do so many people in one day, but it makes me so tired that I don't enjoy my job and I want to still love, like I want to be excited, you know, and sometimes people ask me, they're like, oh my God, you look so glam at like 1 o'clock in the morning, but I look so forward to it. Like I dress up and I go to my brides and I'm, you know, playing some nice music and I'm just like, you know, in the whole vibe of it and get them all excited for their day. I don't want to be tired and exhausted and then do my bride like at the end of the day after having gotten 5-6 other people ready or something, right? Because then it's just not fair. And for the money that she's paying, she's not getting the service that she deserves, if that makes
100%.
sense. So then that's the only reason that I've done it now. It's not beneath me. It's just that I
no. Like, I mean, like it's just part of the game. Right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
There's different things. It's like, you know, like even photography, there's people that start from like the normal like shoots and everything, birthdays and everything, and now they can't because of the time, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
And an important thing that you touched on is like the health aspect of things. And I think like it's quite important to say that, you know, over the time you realize how like crazy certain like weddings can be, like 1 a.m. starts, like you mentioned, and like, you know, obviously it doesn't have a great impact on health, you know, like
absolutely, yeah.
You know, so how do you like basically balance all this, you know, like the crazy timing, but at the same time it's your passion, but at the same time, you know, like you have to treat it as a business.
I mean, I've done it for so long now that I feel like I am getting tired of it. So I have announced a few times on social media now that from 2026 I'm not going to do Hindu brides anymore.
Okay.
And I'm just going to focus on like civil Christian weddings, whatever that doesn't require me to wake up anytime before 5 or 6 a.m. if that makes sense. Just because it just becomes taxing after a while, like, you know. Having done recent blood tests, like my cortisol level, which is basically your stress hormone, is like quite high. And they keep telling me, oh, go gym, do meditation, do this, do that. And I'm just like, dude, my lifestyle, I can't change it because I do have to wake up at crazy hours, which means I have to go to bed early, which means I have to then plan my lunch and dinner accordingly. And, you know, all of that stuff. And I'm trying to be really healthy.
Especially if you start at 1 a.m.
what do
You've
you
got
do?
1
Yeah.
hour drive.
Exactly.
You know, what time are you going to sleep? 3 p.m.?
Yeah. But that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I try and I make sure that I try and get my 6 hours of sleep at least when on these bridal
Yeah.
jobs. So if I do have to wake up at 1 a.m., I am in bed by 6 p.m., which
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think it's crazy. But again,
Yeah.
you know, it's just me and my husband. We don't have kids or in like anyone else dependent. So I
Mm.
feel like I'm able to just kind of say, okay, I'm going to sleep now. Good night.
Cool.
Bye.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shut
yeah.
off for the day and then just kind of, you know, plan my day accordingly, which is why I feel like I've been able to do this career for so long and been able to like travel and wake up at these crazy hours and
Yeah.
stuff like that, because it's just been the same for me. Like nothing's changed in my
yeah.
personal life. So I've been able to put 110% into my brides basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite interesting as well. Like in terms of like the timing, the health and everything you say, and the fact that, you know, you want to change your business in 2026. That you must have like a massive impact for like in terms of like the business, because that's changing the whole business. And I'm guessing, like you said, because it's your bread and butter, it's probably your biggest slice that
Yeah.
you want to change, but then you prioritize, you know, your health on that. Like, how do you make that decision to change things around then?
I can comfortably say I'm in a position financially where I can sort of reduce work, and that's why I'm able to make that decision. Obviously, if I was relying on that money so much, doesn't matter whether your health is priority or not. You've got to work, you got to work, right? So I think I'm able to be in that position where I am able to, like I said, make that decision of like, okay, you know what, let me reduce my hours, but what do I pick? And even if I reduce my hours and decided just to do 2 or 3 Hindu weddings a month, for example, like way less than what I would normally do, it's still unfair, because then which brides do I choose? And, you know, brides are going to come up to me and they'll be like, please, 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 can you do my wedding or whatever? And I don't want to.
It opens the door to like people
It
saying,
does.
"Oh, she did this, but she didn't want to do mine."
and then people might even say, "Oh, she must have gotten paid more, and that's why she did it," or something.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
like,
it
you know
opens
what?
the doors for that,
I'd rather just say I'm not going to do them at all anymore,
Mm.
no exceptions, and just stick to the other bridal jobs that I do, and I can do more of them, which is fine. I could do back-to-back civil weddings because it does not require me to, first of all, go to bed so early, and it doesn't require me to work 15-hour days and stuff. There's no quarter change involved. There's nothing. It's just that one job and I can go home, right? So then I don't mind doing even 2 weddings a day if I had the time, right? Like I could do that, but I can't do that with Hindu weddings. So that's kind of the plan, but let's see, anything can change. I might still be like, hey, 2026 calendar is open for Hindu brides.
Well, the mortgage like knocks at the door, and then you're like, oh, actually,
listen, exactly.
we're back
that
up.
interest rate goes up. I'm back to doing the Hindu
We're
wedding.
back up 1 a.m. start. Call me in.
Basically.
For the people that don't know, obviously, like if you're not in the scene, I'm guessing you wouldn't know about. Basically, a Hindu wedding has 2 parts. So you've got like the bride that changes in between. So they need a makeup and an outfit in the morning.
Yeah.
And they need it again around like I would say 11 to 12 for their auspicious time. So basically, when Vithya wakes up at 1, she has to be around till 12.
Yeah.
Although you might have a break or whatever, you still need to
Listen,
prepare.
let me tell you, okay?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So you wake up, okay? It takes me about 45 minutes to get ready. And then it's usually an hour drive at that time, okay?
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, you're driving from one end of London to the other side of
Yeah,
London.
yeah.
It'll take you 1 hour exactly.
Yeah.
Then you're at your bride's house. I need about 3 hours to do hair and makeup. And then you sometimes stick around for getting ready shots with the photographer when he arrives. Then you get to leave, okay? And normally, if I'm near my house, I quickly go for a nap. If I'm near my parents' house, I go for a nap at my parents' house. If not, I sleep in the car. I get myself some breakfast, and then I get to the venue, and I'm there before the bride does her first walking, because I just want to check that she's still like the way I left her, and like just any quick touch-ups. And then I'm in that room from the moment she walks out. I wait in there, set up and ready for that crazy changeover, and that's usually like a Formula 1 pit stop. I'm not even joking. I'm lucky if I get 20 minutes. My record has been 6 minutes, but 20 minutes usually. Okay, you get them into their next sari, and that's not just a sari, it's usually their jewelry, lipstick, hair flowers, hairstyle, the whole shebang in 20 minutes. And then you quickly take some pictures of your bride, and then you wish her well, and then you leave. And before you know it, 12 hours are gone, and the time that you then leave to go back to your home takes about 2 hours during traffic.
Yep.
And that's my day. So
Gotta
it's
enjoy
exhausting.
London.
Yeah, sometimes I have to drive through Tower Bridge and Big Ben, so it's nice, but mostly not.
I mean, today it took you 2 hours to get here, isn't it?
It took me 2 hours to get here, yeah.
And it's a normal hour drive usually, right? Down
It's
here.
an hour and 10 minutes, but
Okay, cool.
there was a bit of traffic, yeah.
But yeah, so it's a big job, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you can charge the way you do, because of the time and the effort, and you know, it's just such a big chunk of your life basically. And you have no social life. You can't go out on weekends.
course,
You can't make any evening plans with anybody. Like it's so rare that I get like a Friday night or a Saturday night off. So rare. Especially my family and friends. They tell you like 2 weeks before, like, oh yeah, I'm doing a birthday dinner thing, or I'm doing this, and I'm like, sorry mate, I can't come. And now I'm chasing all my unmarried cousins and saying to them, you better give me 2 years advance notice, okay? Because I won't be able to come to your wedding otherwise. And so it's a bit crazy.
100%. But then, so going through it, like, you know, you've mentioned it before, like the bridal, like, I mean, you started with the bridal in terms of like social media and everything. And then now you're going into like content creation.
Yeah.
And I think when we started 4 years ago, I remember you saying, I don't think like TikTok is for me and everything. And now obviously things have changed because of the way, you know, like
listen,
social media
TikTok
takes
is still
you.
not for me, but I'm following what's
trend.
required.
Yeah. And it goes back to what you said, right? Like, you know, you there's a reason why you're here for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's because you have to follow the trends, and you have to, you know, like at some point you have to forecast what comes in your business, and you got to be like, okay, cool, like I don't like this, or it might not be me, but I have to take it on me and I have to do it. It's just like what you said, like it's interesting, like for example, like you said, you know, you've got all that work for 12 hours, but at the end you still have to take pictures of your bride because that's your portfolio again.
Yeah.
So like things that no one really did before, but now it's part of the business.
Marketing. And I feel like that is what got me noticed. Like people
100%.
knew of me because I marketed myself.
Yeah.
And I marketed myself a lot, especially during a time where people were a bit unsure about social media. People were a bit unsure about like posting certain aspects of their life. And I kind of loved the whole vlogging and showing those kind of sides of my life and stuff. And then people naturally are interested, right? Like, and then want to know because they don't have someone else that looks like them or is from the country they're from sharing these kind of, you know, educational things on beauty, fashion, healthy eating or workouts or whatever it is. Obviously now we do have so many other people and stuff, but I'm talking about like, when we first started.
100%. And then like, how do you go into like, okay, cool, I need to create some content now because I have to, I'm guessing your plan business-wise was like, I have to look at other ways to grow the business.
Absolutely. Because bear in mind, it's just me. I don't have a business manager. I don't have assistants. I don't have people that work alongside me. I do everything. I'm everything. Okay. I'm the CEO. I'm the director. I'm the staff. I'm HR. I'm everything I am on my own. So then I have to be able to do things that I might not like, you know, like we were talking about TikTok. It's not something, I still don't really get TikTok, and I don't think I'm particularly, I could have maybe grown even more if I took TikTok seriously 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. But like, I mean,
if we did before COVID, 100%.
But then I also feel like if I did have a PR or business manager, they probably would have told me to get onto TikTok anyway. So I'm trying to do things that I know are sort of required for a business. So I'm doing, you know, all of these things, but I love creating content, like creating content, reels, beauty, editing, all of that I enjoy so much. It's probably like my favorite part. Obviously, I don't have as much time to do that because I'm not a full-time content creator. Obviously, like I said, my focus, my time, everything goes into my brides. I have 2 phones and those phones are with me all the time. If my bride messages me within like 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, you know, she gets my undivided attention basically. And because that's my focus, obviously the social media gets a backseat.
You-
But
yeah.
even then, I try my best, and I still feel like I'm on it, and I'm always consistent with like the stuff that I do on there and stuff. So just get like these ideas, and I think once you have that kind of marketing idea and you're so
Yeah.
passionate about marketing, you will have ideas. Like I sometimes push other makeup artists who I've known for just as long, and tell them like, why haven't you posted anything? And like, why
Yeah.
haven't you done
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
And
yeah.
why, haven't you posted since then or something? And they'll be like, yeah, I know, I've got all this stuff on my phone. It's like, but I'm just like, I just don't have the time. And I'm like, it takes you 2 minutes, just
Facts.
prepare it.
Facts.
And like, I'm constantly on their cases, but I think for them, it's just more of like, not just habit, but sometimes I think maybe a little bit of fear as well, because I
Yeah.
think people worry too much about what they put out there,
Facts,
and
yeah.
and I think that stops them because they overanalyze and they overthink. You can't. When it comes to social media, post.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Worry
Yeah.
about it after. If something bad happens, delete it. You
Yeah.
have the power to do that. It doesn't mean that it's there forever, right? So
Yeah,
I feel like people worry about that, whereas I don't. Like I'm kind of like, I don't care what people think, so I just kind of post what I like, because I feel like, you know what? I do think it's educational. I do think it's fun for somebody to
Yeah.
watch, and I feel like I'm definitely going in the right path, because wouldn't have grown
Yeah.
as much as I
100%,
have now if I
100%.
didn't do that, right? Or
Yeah.
if somebody was stopping me or said, oh, are you sure you want to post this? Or are you
Yeah.
sure you want to say this? And I don't ask anyone for opinions. I don't have anyone that I get to cross-check what I'm about to post, if that makes sense. I'm like, you know what? This feels right. This is authentic. This is me.
Yeah.
I'm going to post this because I'm not getting paid for this. This is just me doing it for fun. So
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
stress about anything, right?
100%.
So yes, I do love content creating. It's not probably something I would ever do full time, but like it is something I definitely enjoy. And
You don't think your business will push you that full time?
No, it's not that. I
Yeah.
feel like I will lose my authentic self. Like I feel like if
Okay.
you become a full-time content creator,
Yeah.
I do feel like you have to somehow earn money, right?
have
So
to
you're
sell.
going to start selling, and
Yeah.
you're going to start promoting brands and
That
products
you don't really use.
that might not
yeah.
align with you, but
Yeah.
you have to do it because you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah,
it
100%.
becomes a full-time job, and I don't want content creating to be a full-time job. It is because you're spending so much time and effort, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really pay me. Like,
Yeah.
YouTube does, but Instagram doesn't. So
Yeah.
I feel like with Instagram, it's just more for fun, exposure,
Yeah.
kind of just getting my brand,
Like continuing to grow.
continue to
Yeah.
grow in that sense.
Yeah,
And
well, one reason why people still book you is because they can see that you're active.
yeah, exactly.
it's-
And the thing is, funnily enough, I don't even post any of my bridal stuff on my Instagram anymore.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
rarely.
Yeah.
Only in my stories.
Yeah.
But even then, people know that
Yeah.
I'm a professional makeup artist
yeah,
because
100%.
it's more word of mouth.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
weddings that they attend, oh, did you makeup?
yeah,
Oh,
it was
Vithya did.
yeah.
Oh, so no one will ever question, hey, does Vithya still do makeup? Like,
Yeah,
they will
100%,
know.
100%.
And I think that's so much more powerful,
Yeah,
word
yeah.
of mouth, than anything else, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like, hey, so my social media, I'm now kind of just running it and it's fun,
Yeah.
but I don't rely on it for business, if that makes sense. But I like that it's there to kind of just keep my brand going, if that makes sense, or it's
Yeah.
associated to my brand. Because I've had to then change Vithya Hair and Makeup to Vithya Visvendra. It's like my name now because
Yeah.
I'm trying to do something different with my Instagram platform.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting, like, again, like things that you've touched on in terms of like, content creation. Because like you said, like you would want to delete, like you could delete. And I know you've had like your fair share of like learning and you're like, okay, cool, this is not good, let me delete it. And you've said it before in your stories, were like, oh, I didn't understand this, so I removed it. So you've
Yeah.
always been open about that. But one thing I want you guys to know, and I don't know if you know, but like Vithya is very serious in terms of like social media. You know your space, and I feel like you can predict and forecast a lot of things, which is quite interesting because when we did this interview, as in our interview, the initial one, 4 years ago, there was the Black Lives Matter movement at that point. And then, so I was so excited. So the actual project was edited within the day. And then I was ready to post, I think it was Tuesday. And then you said on the weekend, so you watched it and you're like, oh, this is great. I love it, this, that. But you're like, but Julian, hold on to it. Maybe we should post it the week. I don't even know if you realize, but you're like, maybe we should post it like in a
When
week
things
from now.
settle a little bit.
2 weeks
Yeah.
from now. And then over the weekend, everyone said Tuesday will be a blackout Tuesday. And then so we will not use social media and everything.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, yo, how did she know? It's like you made the movement, but it's just like you knew. And I was just like, You have to be seriously on business, like, to know stuff like that.
I mean, I do. I'm on social media a lot. Like, so I constantly know what's going on around the world.
Yeah.
I watch the news, and I have cousins and friends from different age groups who constantly keep me sort of updated about what's going on in life as well. And we have these discussions. So then I know when to kind of step away from social media and be like, let that happen, because I'm never ever gonna be political or
100%.
religious or anything. I choose not to. I know other influencers do. It is something people always demand of me, and you know, I get a lot of hate for it as well if I don't get involved. But it's something I'm just not gonna do. And honestly speaking, till today, I feel like I've made such a good decision by
100%.
not getting involved with anything. I just kind of just stay away. I know a lot of people would not agree with me. Some people might, but I
That's how politics works, right? Like 50% agree, 30%
agrees
might
50.
not.
Yeah, exactly. But then I always feel like, if you know, you can easily get yourself into a lot of trouble by
100%.
saying things if you're not
And
like
legally too.
Yeah,
It could be
absolutely. And it can get me into a lot of trouble, especially when I travel to a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And if there is something going on there, and then I travel there after having said something on my social media, do you know what I mean? Like, you can get yourself into very serious trouble. And who's going to protect me from it? My followers on social media. Like, so I have to be really smart about certain things. And sometimes it is good to just kind of step away when there is something sensitive happening, and you know something sensitive
100%.
is happening. And, you know, just to be respectful, really, and stuff. So like I don't, sometimes I foresee, because of the discussions people have. So then I think, maybe we should hold back, or maybe we shouldn't, or whatever. So I'm so grateful that people always come and tell me everything, that's going on, whether good or bad, because then I'm always aware of what's happening.
100%.
And that's one good thing about social media. You're always aware what's happening around the world, nonstop.
100%.
Immediately.
But that was for me. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Because I feel like when we were discussing about releasing it, it wasn't affecting social media. Like, issues happened.
Of
but
course.
this was like the tip of the iceberg, I would say, or it was like the droplet that make, you know, everything, like, overflowed everything. So I was just like, how did you even, like, you know, like, realize? But it's crazy. It's like what you said. I guess, like, your circle keeps you aware of everything.
Your circle and research. This is another thing with content creating or being a makeup artist. You have to constantly research non-stop. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when my husband, who never, ever, ever, ever says anything or judges me for scrolling on my phone, but he knows I'm not doing it because I'm bored. He knows that I'm doing it because I'm now planning my next content, or I'm planning what do I do next, or what's going on around the world. Like, do I mention this, or is it too sensitive, or, you know, like, so those are the things that you have to constantly be aware of. And have, like I said, I don't have a research assistant. I have to do everything.
Definitely.
So then I do that, and then I kind of, like, you know, still not perfect, and I still make mistakes, and I still do dumb stuff.
I like the fact that you take liability, though. Like, not many people do that.
Maybe. I guess so. But then that's how you learn. I mean, trust me, I have cousins and friends who humble me, okay? Like, they definitely humble me. So I feel like I can't get away with, you know, being arrogant or feeling like, oh, I've got that much power, I can get away with whatever. It doesn't work that way. Like,
100%. On a lighter mood, so, like, so far, how do you feel so far? So far, so good? Yeah. Cool. So, on a lighter mood, I've got some questions for you.
Sure.
Let me find them first. There we go. I send them to myself on WhatsApp. But so on a light mood, guys, we'll go through 5 questions.
Okay.
It's a mix of multiple choice and would you rather.
Okay.
Cool. So we'll start with the first one. Cool. So this is common knowledge, yeah. So which of these countries has the capital city of Suva? SUVA, yeah?
Okay.
By your reaction, I feel like you know the answer.
Definitely not.
So the question 1 is Fiji. Answer 1 is Fiji. Answer 2, Samoa. Answer C, Maldives. Or D, Venezuela.
I'm gonna go with answer 2.
Samoa? You're wrong. It's
Was it Fiji?
It was Fiji.
It was so close. I was like, Fiji. And then I was like, I don't know. It's an island. I'm
Yeah.
like, does it have a capital city?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
See, my thinking was in the right way. But then
Yeah.
okay,
I like
fine,
how you
whatever.
proceeded the other way around. You were trying to knock out the ones that can't be.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. Yeah, definitely.
Let's go. This one you should find out. You should know. Which of these largest country in South America? Which is the largest country in South America by land area? Yeah.
Okay.
So you can picture the map. Yeah. Option A: Brazil,
Yeah.
Argentina, Colombia, or Peru.
I mean, I thought it's Brazil, but I feel like there's a trick question.
Go for what you think is right.
Do you know what? That's interesting. Could be Argentina as well, you know. Definitely not Peru. What was the other country?
Colombia.
Yeah, definitely not Colombia as well. Oh, I'm gonna
Follow your guts is what I would say.
Brazil.
Yeah, it is Brazil. It is Brazil. Yeah, people don't understand how big Brazil is, you know. Brazil is
But that
massive.
it takes up the whole of South America. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
thought. But then because you asked me, I was like, I don't know. I feel like this is a trick question.
No, like I remember when, so I went to Rio once, and
Yeah.
then I thought everything is next to each other because I mean it's a very westward
No.
way of thinking.
It's literally like
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
And you basically it's a 4 or 5
probably
hour
take-
plane.
yeah, I was gonna say to go from
One end to another. So it's actually like massive.
Okay.
But yeah, well done. Okay, so this is when it gets interesting. The would you rathers, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Would you rather only be able to whisper everything, or shout everything?
Whisper everything.
Whisper everything?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
But you're a bit of an extrovert, no?
I am, but I'm actively learning to be a bit more mindful.
Cool.
When people shout around me, I can't handle it. So I think, oh my God, how do they feel when I'm around them? So definitely
When
whisper.
you're actually talking. Yeah. Definitely whisper. But then that means like, you know, when you're trying to place an order anywhere, like nobody's going to hear you. You're going to be like, oh, can I get the table?
Listen, okay, I stand out no matter what I do. No, I'm joking. No, I'm just going to stick to whisper. I'm not going to shout.
Okay, cool. Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button in your life?
Oh, definitely a pause button.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So you can finish up the bride. Pause it and be
No,
like,
I
let me
think-
get my 20 minutes.
I like pause because you can process things.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the middle of an argument, whether you're in the middle of something, you can take it all in and you can process it. I feel
Yeah.
like rewinding just means you have regrets in life and you just want to go back and fix
Yeah.
something, which I don't want to do. That's like, how do you move on? How do you move forward in life? So pause button for sure.
Yeah. Cool. And the last one is, would you rather always tell the truth or always lie?
Always tell the truth.
Always tell the truth?
Yeah.
Damn. What if you have to
First of
say...
all, I'm a horrible liar.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't.
Yeah,
I cannot stand liars.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, I feel like sometimes, man, I know the truth hurts, but I'd rather be honest and upfront
Yeah.
than not. So that's me. But then I get myself into trouble for being too honest all the time. But I'd still rather be that person than...
What about white lies though? Like, you know, like if you go to someone's house and you try pasta and
Do you
you're
know
like,
what?
yeah, this is nice.
You can ask my friends if any of them, I'm about to meet them and I say, hey, I can't make it. And they're like, why? I'm not the person to be like, I'm not feeling well. I will literally be like, can't be bothered. It's raining. It's cold.
Yeah.
I'm staying in, mate.
Yeah, you're not that
And then
important
they'll
to
be
me
like,
anyways.
love your honesty. Like, I'm like, what's the point? I'm like, no.
Yeah. It shows 2
Yeah.
hours. I'm not going to come
It's
through.
something my parents have always taught us as well. My parents are like, I'd rather you tell me than do something behind my back.
Yeah.
And it's something that stuck with me and my sister from a young age. So we kind of always felt like just solito lepem, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah. I mean, you were saying rather, right? So I definitely rather always tell the truth.
Oh, that's good. But it's sometimes I feel like with the white lies, it gets a bit difficult, you know, like when you have to be honest. But it's true that
Also, if you are going to do a white lie, I'm telling you, you're going to forget about that white lie and people are going to catch you. They're going to be like, oh, but that day you said you went here and you did this. And you're like, so yeah, nah. And knowing me, I'll get myself into trouble. I don't.
Yeah. Have you actually ever like, you know, for example, for your clients, have you ever been like, I don't know if this sorry is good enough? Like, or
All the time.
yeah, you actually say that's
Happens
good.
a lot.
You know?
No, but I don't. But then I say it to them if they ask me. I'm not going to be one of those people that is just going to give them a blunt truth.
Yeah,
Like if they're just showing me they're sorry and like, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's your sorry. But most people that know me very, very well will know from my reaction already that I'm probably not liking this or whatever. But a lot of my brides do ask me, like,
of course,
for opinions. They're like, oh, what do you think? And I do say to them, I think for your skin complexion, maybe you could have gone with this, or maybe we should try this and stuff, without ever making them feel horrible or anything, right? At the end of the day, they're asking me for a professional opinion. But other than that, I wouldn't just be like, you're wearing this? Like, I wouldn't do that. But to my friends and cousins, I would, though. I'd be like, what are you wearing? And I would want the exact same from them. Like, I would want, like, that honest truth. Because I've had friends in the past who I'm not friends with anymore who wouldn't be honest with me, who would always smile and agree and sugarcoat and those yes men. And then you continue your friendship thinking everything is hunky, glory and everything is great. And then you just sort of realize, actually,
once you posted on social media that everything was wrong.
or something. So I'm just like, I've learned. I'm like, no, sometimes it's really good to be honest.
Good. So that was like the good round, but I got some questions about, you know, how you mentioned like your cousins and everything and your relationship. Like another thing that I want people to know is always, obviously, when you grow a business from scratch, because you didn't acquire a business, you know, there's one way where you can acquire a business, put a lot of cash into it, continue running it. You've started from scratch. Obviously, you can afford your lifestyle with your business, so it's sustainable to a point for you. What kind of sacrifice do you need to make with your relationships? I'm not talking about just private relationships. I mean, like family, cousins and everything. How is that in relation to your business? Like, how do you, like, you know, have a good tap on all of them, you know? Like, because I feel like you can be so business focused that you sacrifice so many of your relationships to a point where maybe you might forget where you come from. Do you get what I mean? Like, is that something that you went through, or you've always had what?
Maybe. I feel like a few years ago, maybe I kind of just like tapped out, in the sense, like I felt like I was on top of the world and, you know, and I feel like I needed humbling experiences where people were just like, no, my friend, like get back down. And my cousins and my friends do that with me all the time as well. But in terms of like, you know, like my husband obviously met me while I was still at the height of my career. So I feel like he understood my lifestyle and he understood what I was doing, and, you know, whether it's photo shoots or content or anything like that. So he's completely fine. And my parents are as well. Like, I could easily just say to them, hey, I'm busy, I'm doing a shoot. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll call you after, or call me when you're done. Like, they take it really seriously. It's not like, oh, it's my Instagram, or any post band. Like, you know, they don't like
some people don't appreciate.
And I feel like with my friends and my cousins, it's the same. It's just in the past, when I was growing, like at the beginning of my career, I've had friends who didn't understand it because they would have had a different kind of job and they're not from the creative field or don't understand the creative side of things. So for them, it was kind of just like, what do you mean you can't come? Or what do you mean you don't have time to come, you know, over or something? Because I would never say, oh, I'll try and come. Like, if I say I'm coming. Like, I'm not the type of person to be like, let me see how I feel. That's not me. So then obviously if I can't come, that means I already know I'm going to be too exhausted that day because I'm going to have back-to-back weddings and I can't come. So I let them know in advance, but they get so offended because then they're just like, but how would you know that you can't make it? And I'm like, because I know I'm just going to be tired and exhausted and I'm going to sit there moping in a corner because I need sleep or I'm hangry or whatever, right? So and I think that used to get me into situations where it was really hard to try and explain to them, and then eventually it got to the point where I couldn't be friends with some of these people who didn't understand, because I'm like, well, I can't constantly I couldn't balance it, juggle, you know. I couldn't. And for me, it was important that like people did understand my lifestyle, just like how I understand your lifestyle. I know you have a 9-to-5 job. It's Monday to Friday. You have kids, school runs, all of this. I understand that and I respect that. Why is it that you can't understand that I have to work on weekends? I don't have 9-to-5, but that doesn't mean I sit around. Like I said earlier, I'm my own boss, you know, everything. So I have to constantly do research. I have to constantly do, you know, whether it's emails, messages, whatever it is, there are so many things that I'm doing all the time to prepare for, like, you know, the next thing and ideas like, oh, maybe I should do a masterclass. What city should I do? And then I put the whole team together and all of that takes time and preparation. I'm not doing that like in 10 minutes, right? It takes days. And that's something people don't really understand. Like, whereas my husband does, like when he knows that when I pick up my business phone, he does not even approach me because he knows, okay, I'm doing something with a client. But otherwise, obviously, you know, when we meet up for like, or my husband and I go on date night or something, I make sure I don't take my phones out of my bag and I give him my full attention, just like when I'm with my friends. Or if my cousins or my friends come over to my house for movie night, I tell everyone, okay, everyone put your phones in the middle. No one's touching their phones. Like, we're watching this movie. We're going to be present. We're going to talk. Like, no one's scrolling on Instagram and losing their attention and stuff. And they like it because they get to have a good time without, you know, like losing like, you know, focus and just scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or something, right? So so they learn that from me as well, because I'm just like, no, let's be present. Let's just enjoy it. And I've even learned over the years, like, to, if I go somewhere, I don't post there and then. Like, I kind of just enjoy it. I take pictures with my normal phone. Like normal phone camera, I mean, and then post it later. And I sort of filter out what I want to share rather than just bombarding people with like so many stories in the moment. I'm just like, but then I'm not enjoying the moment. I'm just focused on sharing things, right? So I just kind of take my time. I don't really post my family and friends much on my social media anymore. I meet them all the time. Like, I had this whole weekend where I was hosting. I had some friends over for dinner. I went out with them. Like, but there's nothing of that on my social media because I feel like I just want to just enjoy that moment and have these kind of connections and relationships and stuff without it being about social media, 100%. Which used to be the case for me before. Like, I used to love showing my followers like, oh my God, like I'm here with my friends, or I'm here with my cousins, or we're doing like a
social life too.
You know, and you're sharing it because you want to share and you want to show people like, you know, oh my God, I'm having fun or something, not boasting or showing off. But then I've realized over time, that's probably how it comes across though.
I get you.
Maybe some people are having a hard time and they're looking through Instagram and then they're seeing your stories and then that's naturally going to make them feel uncomfortable or jealous or whatever. So I'm like, there are certain things that just don't need to be like, 100%. I will definitely share anything, hair products or makeup or anything like that I find. I'm like, oh, I'm excited and I share it because it's educational. But what I do with my friends, and whether we've talked nonstop for 12 hours, that's not going to inspire anybody. That's just unwanted or unnecessary information, right? But that took years of being on social media to learn that. That I'm like, there are certain things that are just unnecessary.
And I feel like when you meet with people as well, because you're so busy, it will always be like a big motive, you know.
100%. You don't have time for that because you're just so excited to catch up and have like, you know, and I've noticed my friends don't do that anymore either. Back in the days, you know, or with older friends, it used to be like, like the food or each other, or they'd be like, oh, Vithya, say something, or let's take selfies or whatever. Now it's like nobody even takes out their phones. It's like no one even knows where their phone is. It could be in the bag, it could be in another room, and that's really nice. And I feel like in today's social media world, it's so nice when people do that around you. So with my birthday was the same rule. Nobody post anything until this weekend is over. And everyone stuck to it. And we did the same thing with our wedding as well. Nobody post anything. Like, we're just going to enjoy it. And then you guys can do what you want and stuff. So, and everyone stuck to it. So it was nice.
It's nice. Did you know that we're born on the same day?
What? 25th of July?
I
didn't know that.
Leo gang. We
I didn't know that. What time were you born? Do you know?
6 a.m.
Okay,
bang on.
Okay.
What
1 a.m. And I know a photographer in Malaysia who was born same day, same time, same year.
That's same year.
Same year.
Crazy.
Completely. And I feel like me and him were like literally like twins. Like that's
and
I always say that. So I was curious. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So like when you do moves like business moves and everything, I was like, appreciate that. That's something I would have done.
Thank you. That's so cool.
Like every time, like that's how I feel. It's a bit sad, but
but you know what? I have to give my cousins and friends credits as well. Like a lot of my cousins do give me a lot of ideas, and they do push me to things. And if I'm honest, I only joined TikTok because 2 of my cousins from Norway were on my case for months. And then one day they were like, Vithya, they sat me down and they were like, this is what you need to do, blah, 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 like get on TikTok. And I'm like, so like I'm on TikTok now, and it just kind of, like, it's great, but it's I still feel like Instagram is more my generation and it's more my thing. I feel most comfortable in it because I feel like it's grown with me throughout my entire career. So I feel like I know my followers on there much better. I know what to kind of do on Instagram.
100%,
With TikTok is
100%.
just very kind of like a slightly
Yeah.
different generation. So I'm a
100%.
little bit like, oh, what do people want to see? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because some people say, oh yeah, create your content and then you create it so you can just post it. But they're very, very different niche of clientele or like consumers in each platform. Like YouTube consumers are not the same as Instagram consumers.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the same way with TikTok. So I feel like you gotta choose and figure out what to post on what platforms. Because you need to figure out your demographics, right?
100%.
Like my YouTube followers or my Facebook followers even are like a completely different generation.
100%.
But I still have all these platforms and I post different things on these platforms accordingly and stuff, because I just recently as well, like if I go out, it's not just the young girls that come up to me. I like that all the mums and the grandmas, come up to me and they're just
100%.
like, oh, we love your Tamil speaking videos, or we love your sari
I
draping
saw that.
videos.
That was a good move.
Yeah, so I feel like I then target a different group of people who then, because at the end of the day, it's marketing, because they're going to tell their daughters, hey, you need to book Vithya. If their daughters weren't already following me.
The moms always
Exactly.
have to say,
So I feel like sometimes it's good to kind of target everyone.
Yeah.
And I have quite a lot of male followers as well, like,
100%.
like consistent, but like the ones that are not following you because they're perving on you, they're following you because they really like respect your hustle and they
100%,
respect
100%.
like the kind of business that you've grown, and I love that, and I have like these regular guys that sometimes message and they write such nice messages, and they'll at the end they'll be like, oh, say hi to your husband, and and then I'll show my husband the message and be like, oh, and it's so nice to have
You'll
that
be like,
kind
see,
of.
they're all not all that bad.
No, if I'm honest, from the get-go, I've never had like creepy people, and I'm so grateful for it. Like I've never had those kind of inappropriate pictures sent to me, or I've never had people that have ever just slid into my DM and tried to be like, hey, I like you, let's meet up, which people think happens to me. It does not. It's never happened to me, actually. Even when I was single, and I was single for 2 years, nobody dared.
You missed your boat, guys. You missed your boat.
Basically. Whereas my husband then slid into my emails, right? That's how it happened. So,
oh, man. You went
so
professional route.
I'm like, he dared, and then it happened. No, I'm joking. But it's like, it's nice. It's nice that I get a good... a good group of people that I feel like are the right kind of followers for me, and I feel like the kind of content that I post attract those kind of followers as well,
100%.
which is nice, which I like.
But that's what I was saying as well. Like I really appreciate like the stuff that you do, and obviously I learned little stuff about like makeup and everything that I might not use ever. But like in terms of business, I can see how you're moving it, which is quite interesting.
Thank you.
But to wrap it up, we've got another minute or so. Before we hit the hour, but like I just wanted to touch on how you used to live. Like when we met outside, I was telling Vithya that this used to be her ends, because I know she was very much. We're based in Northwest, very much Northwest London girl. I was
Harrow girl. I was a Harrow girl.
Yeah, and it turned out we went to the same high school. What are the odds?
Literally just found out like 1 hour ago.
So like now, like obviously you've like London has changed. You've obviously moved away from London, then you came back. And then now you're kind of like away from London, but you're in the surroundings. Like, so what's the change? Like, what do you think about London and the transition? I
personally love London. I don't think I could live anywhere else but London.
Okay.
I think, first of all, it's home because I've got my family here.
Yeah.
But one of the great things that I like about London is opportunities. I feel like I can be anyone I want to be and become whoever I want to be,
100%.
which I think a lot of people take for granted when they are 100%. In Western countries, because they think, oh yeah, and they complain about this, they complain about that. But then I feel like if you've lived elsewhere and then you come back, you kind of then realize, okay, the pros and cons, right? And for me, like, there, with any country or city, there are going to be like some cons as well. But I feel like I'm at my best when I'm in London. I feel like I'm at my literally at the top of my game when I'm in London. And so I couldn't imagine living. I still live borderline London, a little bit further out than I did when I lived in Northwest London. Yeah. But it's nice because I get to have my bubble, because my parents always wanted that for us to live somewhere far away from family. Yeah. So that you get to choose, right? Like you get to hang out with your family when you want. And then get to be in the bubble with just my husband and I, which we're so used to in Malaysia, because for 4 years it was just my husband and I, and I think that really strengthened our marriage so much.
100%.
that now we needed that as well. And so we kind of just stay away from everything and we pick and choose what we want to come to. And nobody like questions it. So it's nice.
Yeah.
And same thing with work. It's only now that I've let clients come to my new home.
Yeah.
It used to always be my parents' house, but then it's like my new home now,
Yeah.
where I do my trials, and I'm hoping to build a studio space there as well. So I'm kind of like trying to make that a bit more permanent.
It's looking really good, by the way, your house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. When I see
A lot of time, effort, money.
Yeah.
I feel like I've cheated on fashion with furniture and renovations. Okay? I'm
Yeah.
like,
No. It's really good. You know, I mean, like, obviously you don't post the whole thing, but like from what you posted, from what you show, it looks really good.
Thank you so
really
much.
good.
Thank you so
And
much.
it's too bad we live in a world where you can't do a full house tour. That'd be quite cool. But
Yeah,
like, you know,
safety reasons. Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
but I think it's, I mean, I share as much as I can, and I share as much as even my husband is comfortable with, because obviously
Yeah,
it's
of course. It's
his
his
home
space
too,
too.
his
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
So I feel like I need to be mindful of what I do. But once the studio space is built, which is our next project, then I can kind of, you know, just do a lot more stuff and be a bit more consistent. That's why, because I want to do like classes, I want to do like loads of stuff with that studio space. So that would be my future project.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. I don't want to take too much of your time.
No, thank you so much. This was fun.
But I just want to know, like, people, when Vithya was in line about making the whole, like, you know, like using every opportunity to make something. So you did that last time, but are you going to do it today as well? Where, you know, like when you come for like something like this, obviously you've got a packed schedule now in London. But are you like, you've obviously like, have you done like the stuff like where you put your makeup on this morning and everything? Like, I know you do that a lot, and I think that is so smart. You know, use your time. Like,
efficiently, that's
yeah,
it. I like to
efficiently.
do that. If I'm doing something, I like to like just pack in other things, so that I'm just like, might as well make use
of the whole thing.
Yeah, I
of the
feel
whole
like
thing.
I'm a very, very productive human being.
Extremely productive.
And you know, but then it's okay to procrastinate sometimes, which is rare for a human being like me. Then I'm not proud of it, because I wish I took more time just to do self-care, which I don't do enough. But then I like to, so that's why I was just like, I gotta go, because I have an appointment at 12:30, and you know, that kind of thing. So and I think
no, that's good though.
that's how you grow, though. I feel like that's how you know, don't miss opportunities, or you're constantly like, you know.
100%. And again, she replies all the time, quickly. So very
really,
good.
really
I
fast,
think. Yeah. I mean, like, it's straightforward. Like, probably the best like
Thank
businesses and the way to handle stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely like one of the best creators we have.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you for
seriously.
having me here.
No,
like, it was
good.
so much fun, and I knew it would be anyway. And I'm so proud of you, from like 4
thank
years
you.
ago to how much you've done and achieved and
Thank
everything.
you.
So
All thanks to you. It all started from that email.
I'm not going to take credit. It's your hard work, definitely. And you reached out to me then as well. And
Yeah.
so well done.
Thank you. But yeah, just make sure you guys subscribe, and obviously check out Vithya. I'm sure you guys all know her as well. We'll put like everything into the description. Obviously, you got your YouTube channel, you got your Instagram, and obviously you've got your TikTok now. So make sure you follow her on TikTok
why
as well
not?
for the dances and the
Thank
outfits. And then we'll put your old Facebook on it as well, you know. I'm kidding. But yeah, so make sure you check it out. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, that was it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All good.